Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and we are doing more news and politics and stuff from around the world. This is for the 19th of March, 2023. First off, we start with a story. Now, a lot of them are from Reddit. Uh, that I find on there. But yeah, this particular story is from France24.com. Paris stinks as uncollected trash mounts to 10,000 tons due to strikes. So yeah, they're having a uh, workers' strike. I don't know if it's just garbage workers or if it's just public workers or what. But yeah, uh, Parisians meet up next to overflowing trash bins as the amount of uncollected garbage surged to 10,000 tons, said city authorities on March the 17th, 2023. The new estimate, up from 77,600 tons earlier in the week, Holmes comes after Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin said that strikers were being forced back under emergency powers designed to safeguard essential services. So they're going to try to force them back to work instead of, you know, actually discussing demands and stuff. They're like, we're just forcing you back to work. From today, from this morning, requisitioning is working and bins are being emptied. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, but that's some of the political happenings in France. Let's hop over to a story from Reuters.com. Portugal. Thousands protest in Portugal to demand higher wages and a cap on food prices. Something the U.S. may have to consider. But yeah, thousands of protesters filled downtown Lisbon on Saturday to demand higher wages and pensions, as well as government intervention to cap soaring food prices, they say are strangling already tight budgets. Let's see. Paula Goncalves, 51, said people were protesting against low wages, precariousness, and for more justice for workers. Yeah, things happen. It's always going to screw over the poor and the lower classes. It don't bother the rich, and that's why they always try to pit America. Not just Americans, but worldwide. They try to pit the common people against each other. And often use political culture war crap. That's one of the big things here in America. Culture war, culture war, culture war. Nothing to do with actual, political things when we could be solving real issues. No, these M&Ms are not sexy anymore. They're messing up Dr. Seuss books. Oh, Nancy Pelosi wears an African garb and does a prayer. None of that has anything that would affect the lives of average people. But yeah, that's what gets the news stories. This is a story from The Guardian. Trump in panic mode as he braces for likely charges of the Stormy Daniels case. He paid his lawyer to give Stormy Daniels hush money after she had sex with him. The lawyer went to jail. Why hasn't Trump? I think it's perfectly, reasonable that he should have to face the consequences as well. Anyway. And this is a story. The state, where's it from? commondreams.org. Minnesota becomes the 4th state in the U.S. to provide free school meals to all kids. Absolutely. That is what I'm talking about. This is what makes a better nation. Makes a better world. When we look out for people instead of culture crap. Let this serve as a reminder that poverty is a policy choice, said one advocate. In the richest country in the world, it is absolutely inexcusable that millions of our children go to school hungry because they are living in poverty. Absolutely. Perfectly correct. Thank you, Minnesota. I don't even live in Minnesota, but, absolutely. Thank you, Minnesota. That's the kind of thing you should be doing to help, people. And then the next 4 stories I got from the Lever. We got 2 here that covers the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and the panic it has caused. The Fed insisted Silicon Valley Bank posed no serious risk to the financial system. Less than 2 years later, Fed Chair Jerome Powell cited systematic risk as justification to protect the bank's depositors. And in another story by the same site, regulators greenlit Silicon Valley Bank's risky investments following lobbying efforts. The Federal Reserve exempted Silicon Valley Bank's venture capital investments from a key risk management rule. This is why I say lobbying is one of the worst things. It is abused. It can be for good, helping veterans, helping students, helping the elderly. But instead, it's often used to help the rich and the corporations because they have more ability to lobby. They have more paid lobbyists and they have more money to use for lobbying. But yeah, this should have been seen miles ahead. And another issue with lobbying, rail lobbyist turned senator could block a safety bill, which John Thune embodies the rail industry's Washington influence machine that could now kill bipartisan safety legislation after the East Palestine crash of a train carrying all these deadly chemicals in Ohio. And because he used to be one of their freaking lobbyists and is now a U.S. Senator, I think he's Montana. No, South Dakota. I knew it was in the Middle East somewhere. John Thune, Republican of South Dakota, is once again going to bat for the industry, positioning himself as a key obstacle to the most substantial rail safety initiative considered by Congress in years. Again, lobbying is being vastly abused, and it needs brakes put on it. Serious regulation put on it. Last story we want to talk about, this is again from The Lever, and again talks about the disaster in East Palestine, Ohio, because these are the things we need to pay attention to. These are the things that affect lives. After Norfolk Southern support, Governor Mike DeWine of Ohio says, "There's no disaster in East Palestine. I don't know what you're talking about." Ohio Governor Mike DeWine's track record and rail company links raise questions about his ability to hold the rail giant accountable for derailment disaster. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has pledged that Norfolk Southern will be held accountable for the February 3rd train derailment disaster in East Palestine, Ohio, to ensure the community is properly protected from the toxic chemicals released into the air and water. "They're the ones who created the problem," said DeWine. 4 days after the accident, it's their liability. They're the ones who ought to pay for it. But DeWine has refused to issue a disaster declaration that would send much needed federal resources to East Palestine and draw attention to the Norfolk Southern accident. He has also failed to ensure that the railroad giant paid the price for 2 other derailments in his state earlier this year. So he's already fumbled the ball twice in the few months that there's been in 2023. What makes us think he's going to go after him for this one? I highly doubt it. It's just more lip service. Let's be honest. The governor's failure to act raises questions about his management of the crisis and the influence of his close ties to Norfolk Southern's Ohio lobbying firm, which just so happens to be at the center of what federal prosecutors have called likely the largest bribery, money laundering scheme ever perpetrated against the people of the state of Ohio. DeWine's office did not answer questions in response to inquiries from The Lever. So yeah, he's not going to do anything. He may offer it lip service of, "We'll make them pay." You haven't made them pay so far, just for 2 others in this year alone, dumbass. What makes us believe? Why should we believe you? Anyway, I just wanted to talk about the stories. These are the stories for March the 19th, 2023. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.